Good morning. A couple of days ago I did something a bit different and posted on my community board, whatever it's called, and the fact that I was happy to try and answer questions for anybody, questions that refer to Slimming World. I'm not an expert. I do have quite a lot of years of experience, and if I don't know the answer, I do have, a mouth and a telephone, and I'm happy to ring head office and find out. So, Luke from Luke John Food has posted me a question, which I'm happy to answer. I'm going to answer it in part generally and in part directed at you, Luke. Please don't think I'm judging you. I'm not. It's just my observations, my opinions. All of this is about my opinions. Some stuff will come out that is, this is how Slimming World say we should do it. And other stuff is how I've done it. And some stuff will purely be my opinion, which you don't, of course, have to agree with. So to kick off, Joey's going to read Luke's question.
How do people stay motivated when they get very little from the consultant? Staying to group is one thing, but the level of learning is left to Lifeline Online.
Brilliant. Well put, Luke. Very well put. Firstly, in my opinion, motivation comes from within. If I had to rely on my consultant for motivation, and as nice as she is, and as decent a consultant as she is, she's very new at this game. So if I was relying on her for motivation, every time she had a bad week, I'd have a bad week. She's only human. And some of them are so new to the job or have even been in it so long that they don't come across as motivating all the time. Is anybody motivated all the time? I'm not sure. So, if you want to go to group and find motivation, I think the first, excuse me, I've got a bad throat again, but I think the first thing of importance is you show motivation. We have a responsibility in our group to give away what we've got. So if you're in a good place, please excuse me, if you're in a good place and you're motivated and you're pumped up about this plan, show it in group. Don't just sit there like a dummy. When it comes to image therapy, which is individual motivation and group experience, use your individual motivation to motivate others. You see, the word motivation comes up in what we're supposed to be doing during those times. It's not a coffee morning, it's not a chat. If you can find motivation for working this plan, if you're having success working this plan, then make sure everybody else knows about it. Because that is your individual motivation. Give it away, it's the best way to keep it. But if you're in group and everybody's just making a joke about the fact it's been a bank holiday, and everybody's just making a joke about the fact that everybody puts weight on at Easter, or everybody gains weight at Christmas, or everybody does this, or everybody does that, be the one who doesn't. Be the one who says to themselves, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to follow the failure plan. I'm going to be a success because I am motivated to success. So I think it's crucial when you go into group, you may find you don't gel with a consultant. They're not all perfect. I mean, let's face it, lose 2 stone, buy a franchise for about 1,600 quid, and you can become a consultant. Just because you've lost the 2 stone, or maybe 3, 4 or 5 stone, does not make you a good teacher. And we need to be teachable, and the best way to find a teachable plan is to be taught by somebody who has the skill to teach. This is what I found with Naomi. She was a born and bred teacher. She was a lecturer. She had those skills actually in her. She could have taught me to knit spaghetti. She was such a good teacher. But can you imagine the frustration of being a consultant who has to stand up there at the front of the group and listen to everybody being negative? It's our group. We have a responsibility to make it a motivating place. It's not just about taking. I think it's 75% giving. Now, I asked Joe to write down 1 or 2 pointers for me because I can't just read it off a bit of paper. But yeah, be the motivation in your group. Don't drain it. Have any of you ever had those friends who come and see you and they drain the bloody life out of you? And then you have other friends who you spend time with them and you come away thinking, wow, that was like a breath of fresh air, I feel so much better. Be that person in group. Don't sit there and moan. Don't get off the scales and say that I could kick those scales because I've only lost half a pound. I think if you've only lost half a pound, and I don't usually say only to half a pound, I'd be grateful for that. I think if you've lost that, it's because what you deserve to lose. Put the work in. Get the results. Carry on the motivation, because there's no better way to be motivated than to stand on those scales, experience the joy of missing out, the JOMO, because you said no to the things that would have knocked you off plan. You get on the scales, you get a decent result, and you are motivated to carry on. That's self-motivation. Don't give your power away. Don't look to be motivated by other people. It won't happen. Because they'll pull you down with them as fast as they'll pull you up with them. Anyway, Joe's just going to give me a couple of headings, see if I can remember what I wanted to say.
So the first one was motivation from within.
Yeah, and that is it. Your motivation is not on Lifeline Online. It's not anywhere other than within yourself.
Work the plan properly.
Yeah, now this, Luke, forgive me, please don't take offence, but I've watched a few of your videos. I haven't watched all of them. But you're here to work the plan, right? So you've got your healthy extras, you've got your free food, you've got your speed food, you've got your sins. Why some days do you only have 2 or 3? I'm asking you a question now, and I believe you're man enough to come back to me with an answer. But if a plan says you can have 15, 25, 35, why would you have 2 or 3? That's not even on plan. The plan, even for the slightest female who might come into group with £7 to lose, is 5 to 15. For a chap, I've got a guy sits behind me in group, he gets 25 sins. I'm not jealous of that. He's probably got a lot more weight to lose than I have. And he's a man, he does a much more physical job. But why would you not work the plan properly and then say, I'm not motivated to carry on? Because if you were motivated, if you work the plan properly, by the book, using your sins, and I'm a great believer in I have 15 sins most days, or just below that, and I've lost nearly 4 stone in the last year, and I'm comfortable in my body today. I still want to lose a bit, but I'm never in a hurry. But if I had, like when I first started, I was 22 stone, so I'm nearly 11 stone down. But if I today said, oh, I'm only going to have 2 sins a day, or I'm only going to have 3 sins a day, my weight loss would stall. And never be the person who is chasing a 5 to 8 pound weight loss this week, only to fall flat on your arse next week when you have a 2 pound gain. Because my nearly 50 years experience of Slimming World tells me it's all about consistency. And if you aim to lose a pound to 1.5, 2 pounds a week, so you're shedding half a stone a month consistently, by the end of the year you could be 6 stone down. I'm not sure how long you've been doing this, Luke, but it's been a good few months. Are you losing on average half a stone a month? Do you want to? Then eat your sins. I'll be straightforward with you. You don't need to review soup. You don't need to do veganuary. What you need to do is work the plan, because it will work for you. Don't look at building a community and building a channel until you've got results. I don't give a what's it about my channel. I love the people who communicate with me on my channel. I couldn't even tell you today how many subscribers I've got, how many views I get, all of that. My focus on my channel is just answering the people who message me each week, staying in touch with. I've made quite a lot of friends on this channel. I've made friends I text on this channel. I've made friends I call on the phone on this channel. But my priority on my channel is my weight loss. That is not selfish. Because unless I've got it, unless I'm doing it, unless I'm keeping it, what have I got to give away? Nothing. The first time round that I did my channel started in about 2015 when I was a Target member. I never vlogged my weight loss. I vlogged being at Target, and I think I was the first person in our sort of Slimming World area on YouTube who actually vlogged being a Target member. There have been plenty since. But I was at Target for the best part of 6 years, and the only reason I blew it was out of my bad choices. I have never reviewed anything on my channel. I don't care. I mean, if you went into my kitchen now and you opened my saucepan cupboard, you'd probably find a dozen different Le Creuset pans. But where am I going to benefit by telling people, this is what you should have this pan, you should have this pan, you should have this sauté pan, you should have this wok. They're all Le Creuset, they're incredible. That's nothing to do with my weight loss and working this plan. Buying tins of soup, I can't even remember whose soup it was that you were showing us, but buying tins of soup and reviewing it and saying, I don't know, whether 3 or 4 sins, whatever it was, that's not going to influence the way I work the plan. What I want to see is you, Luke. You're great with food, you can cook, that's a blessing for most men. I want to see you dropping the weight consistently, 1/2 stone a month. Then I'll follow you, because then you'll be an inspiration to me and you will motivate me. Now, if I came on here every week and I said, the reason I stopped vlogging back about 3 or 4 years ago was because I was coming on every week and I was saying, I've had a gain, I've had a gain, I've had a gain. I was boring myself, let alone boring anybody else, and I was not motivating. So I buggered off and got on with my life. Now I'm back and I want to come on here. I've done 50 weeks and I've had 3 gains, 2 half-pound gains, 1 pound gain in 50 weeks. I'm not saying I'm better at this than anybody else. What I'm saying is I'm bloody consistent. And consistency brings motivation. Don't ever, ever rely on anybody else for motivation. I can listen to the podcast, the Slimming World podcast, and some weeks I roll my eyes and think, not for me. I can't listen to it every week because I have no access to Lifeline Online. This week, it's worth listening to. They interviewed a lady called Mariana. She's lost 7 stone 1 pound and is now a consultant, and oh my God, if she had a group anywhere near where I live, she's in London, I'm not, I would be first at her door. Because this woman, I think, even made the 2 ladies who do the Slimming World podcast look like members. They're good. She's brilliant. That's what we need. But a consultant can only get that if she's getting the right vibes back from her members. Because just imagine if you sit there like a load of boring dummies every week, giving nothing but moan, moan, moan. How inspiring is that? How motivating is that to her? And any consultant is only as good as their story. Make sure your consultant's at Target. That, I think, is valid. I don't think it's really motivating if your consultant is way out of Target. It's not just about paying the 1,600 quid and getting the franchise. It's about taking on a job of motivating and inspiring people. If you're not motivated and inspired by your consultant, find another group. My group isn't even in my town, it's in the next town over. There are groups in my town that don't fit with the day and time I can do. But I am trying to make an effort to give back to my group what they give to me. And I don't want to sit there and moan. Next point, Joe?
About filling your plate and belly and using healthy extras and things.
Yeah, we're talking about working the plan properly.
Yeah.
The best way to find motivation is with a full plate and a full belly. Use your healthy extras, use your sins, fill your boots with free food and speed food. Do not skimp. This is not Operation Starvation. You're not on a restricted diet. This is a lifestyle. If you Google things about Slimming World, it refers to it as a weight management company. We are managing our weight. We are not here to skimp and scrape, moan because we're hungry, and then fall off the wagon, land flat on our face in a custard tart or something. It don't work like that.
A consultant's only as good as their story.
Yeah, find your consultant's story. Ask your consultant. Well, I know my consultant's story. Ask your consultant. You're not being nosy. You're not intruding. Ask your consultant, what's your story? How long did it take you to lose your weight? What was your average weekly weight loss? I know my average weekly weight loss because my consultant keeps telling me, your average is like 1.2 pounds a week or whatever. Ask your consultant, what's your average weekly weight loss? It's not intrusive. You're not being nosy. You're not judging them. You're looking for motivation. And if your consultant comes back and says, well, actually, I'm a stone out of target, but I've been trying to get back in for 2 years, blow her out. Move on. That's not the best place to be, however nice they are as people. If I heard that from my consultant every week, I would think, if you can't do it, how are you going to make sure I can? Because I want a consultant that's prepared to tell me when I'm doing it wrong. I want a consultant that's prepared to tell me bullshit when I'm coming up with 15 different excuses. I need that. And I think, Luke, you're probably a strong person like I am. You need that too. And you do not need a consultant who is judging you for being a bloke. Because let's face it, we all know men lose weight faster. I have a man who sits behind me in group and I don't give a toss. If he wins the Slimmer of the Week basket and the Slimmer of the Month basket every week, I'm going to be there celebrating for him. It's not about envy or judgment. If a man is in your group and he's doing well, tell him he's doing well. And if you're a man in that group and you're doing well, tell them how you're doing it. But don't go in 1 week with a half stone weight loss and the next week with a 2 pound gain. And then the next week, don't go to group because you think you've got a gain. Be consistent. Face those scales, up or down or stagnant. Face those scales. It's really important. Yep.
Yeah, Lifeline Online.
Oh, Lifeline Online. Luke, if you can get motivation from Lifeline Online, then good on you. I have no access to it. As a blind person, I can't access anything on Lifeline Online, which is why I can only listen to the podcast bi-weekly. But to be honest with you, if I can't find the motivation in myself for a reason to stick to this plan and improve my health, then some lady on Lifeline Online who's lost 1 stone 4 pounds, or 2 stone 1 pound, or who is Slimmer of the Year, or Woman of the Year, or Man of the Year, or an icon, they're not going to inspire me. Because although their stories are really nice for them, and really positive for them, which is important, I get why Slimming World use that, they don't relate to me. If I've got some beautiful young woman in her 20s or 30s who's bouncing around the gym and doing aquasize and doing everything else, and here I am, 68 years old, and I had a lot of weight to lose, I don't relate to that. I have never been on a weight loss plan in my life when I had less than 7 stone to lose. That's, I think, why this Mariana lady on the podcast spoke to me so clearly, because I could relate to her story. She was telling my story. This is why I could always relate to my consultant Naomi, because she was telling my story. I wanted what she had got. And I need a consultant today who's got what I want. And I'm hoping that my consultant will grow into that place. She's new. She's doing a great job, but she's new. It's like any job. Start a new job in an office, start a new job in a cafe, do whatever. You have to learn the ropes. And until you've got it, you can't give it away. If you're not a good cook in your cafe, Luke, how could you teach somebody to cook alongside you in your style? They might want to poach eggs totally different to you, or they might want to cook bacon totally different to you, or make a sandwich totally different to you. But this is your cafe, this is your life. You want it done your way because you've got a reputation to uphold. And the same applies to our Slimming World plan. We want it done properly if we're serious about it. Some people aren't serious about it. Some people have been pissing around for years. I don't want to be one of those people. I have to do it properly, otherwise I'm wasting my life. If I can't do it properly and I can't show myself that amount of respect, then I might as well just bugger off to Asda, spend 50 quid on junk and wallow, like I always used to do. I'm better than that now. Anything else?
And last one, you create the group.
Yeah, you do. We walk through that door. I go through to a group on a Tuesday morning. And my God, I wish I lived near you, Luke, because I'd take you with me. But I go to, or I'd come to yours. I walk through that door on a Tuesday morning. We have an incredible social team, 3 ladies on our social team. My consultant is growing in confidence and everything. And they're probably the best part of 30 other people in the room who stay. If I'm going to sit there and whinge, it's not fair. I can only have this. It's not fair. Wine is a thing that I find comes up a lot with ladies. Most ladies, not all, but most ladies like to drink their wine. Was it 12.5 cents for a 250ml glass? Jeez, I'd never waste my time with that. Or my sins. I am a drinker, I like whiskey. I'm not a wine drinker. I've never found a wine, apart from Gewürztraminer years ago, that I actually even like. And it would bust my gut and break my heart to spend 12.5 cents on a glass of wine. But for some people, it's the right thing to do. But it's not the right thing to do to have 2, 2.5 or 3 glasses and then moan because you've had a weight gain, any more than it is the right thing to do to have 6 slices of bread when your Healthy Extra B says 2, or to have, I don't know, anything that doesn't fit within the plan. I know the Slimming World plan says you can have anything you want. Well, take that with a pinch of salt, because if you want a box of milk tray, you can't have them. If you want a box of Hotel Chocolat, you can't have them. If you want a Freddo, I think you can get one for 5 cents, but that would be your choice to spend your cents. You can't have everything. It's not an easy ride. It's not an easy plan, but it is a simple plan. And if you really, really, really want it, you can go into your group, whether it's Monday to Saturday, because no group's on a Sunday, because no head office to back them up, but you can go into your group Monday to Saturday, you can put your backside on that chair, whether it's a small backside or a large backside, and you can be the shining star who motivates the whole group. Luke, you're like me, you've got the gift of the gab. Share it. Show them how to do it. Show them what a big guy you are. And I don't mean physically big, I mean you've got a presence. Use it. You're not a shrinking violet. I'm not a shrinking violet. I think sometimes in my group they think, oh God, here she goes. But I'm going to tell it like it is. He knows me well.
Exciting.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell it like it is. If this week I've eaten tubs of 250 mils of full fat cottage cheese, when I have these women sitting around me, it's fat-free this, fat-free this, fat-free yogurt, fat-free cottage cheese. And my idea is like, yuck. Give me the full fat stuff and I'll sin it and I'll bloody well enjoy it. Because if I had to eat fat-free cottage cheese, I would never touch it. You know, I mean, in our basket the other day, there were, what are those little round cheese things called, Joe?
Baby Bell.
Baby Bell, but the low-fat Baby Bell. I think you get 3 for a Healthy Extra A. Best place for those is in the bin. If you can't eat the full-fat ones, which are bad enough, why would you go for the low-fat? You don't need to eat low-fat food on Slimming World. You really don't. And I'll tell you something, since I reverted to having more fat in my diet again, my skin is 100% better. My sleep is 100% better. Because a lot of vitamins and things are fat soluble. If you're not putting any fat in your diet, you can't absorb them. You know, I don't take any, Joe, vitamins, tablets, anything like that. I make sure I get what I need from my food, which is doable on Slimming World. But what I want to say to you, Luke, and everybody else is, if you want motivation, look within. People say find your why. I don't know. Maybe when you start, you need to find your why. But something has got to keep you going, because you might start at, like I did, 22 stone, or I think probably 30 stone, whatever for Luke, or you may come into group at 9 stone. If your why is because you're going on holiday, that holiday will come and go. What's going to keep you going then? If your why is because you're getting married, same story.
Sorry,
If
you're at 25 minutes.
Yeah. Do it, Luke, and show us how to do it, because I think you could create a brilliant channel